3.5 years on the road. Ecuador, Colombia, and soon other parts of South America. Dozens of hosts, hundreds of conversations, more bus rides and hotel stays than I can count. Somewhere along the way, without looking for it, I managed to find a home base, a home away from home. Not a hotel, not an Airbnb, not a resort. This is a working farm about 2 hours north of Quito in Ecuador. It's accessible only by a 4x4, and if you blink, you're going to miss the entrance off the main road. 2 families, hundreds of species of birds, 4 dogs, coffee plants, vegetable garden, orange trees, cows, bulls, animals, plants, a natural sanctuary, and older owners that needed an extra pair of hands. I found this place through Workaway and showed up not knowing what to expect. I've been back multiple times since. This is the story of how a farm in rural Ecuador quietly, over time, became my home base, and how every long-term traveler needs to find theirs. Steve here, Street Smart Travel, coming at you from Peterborough, Ontario today. Still on my visit up here in Canada. I will apologize for the wind. I have been looking around all morning for a spot to shoot, and I think I finally found one where the wind won't be much of an issue. This is Feelgood Friday, another story in the series. And these are real-life stories, inspiring, positive, sometimes humorous, and always very real stories from life on the road, traveling through Ecuador and parts of Colombia, and soon other parts of South America. This farm is a 50-hectare farm. There's no neighbors up here. There's other farms, but they're far away. You can't hear or see them. There's no stores, no restaurants, nothing nearby. It's about 20 minutes to get down the driveway in a 4x4, and then another 20 minutes on a better road to get into town before you have access to any kind of anything in terms of shopping or restaurants. No entertainment, no anything. So it's pretty rural, it's pretty isolated in a lot of ways, and it's a fantastic place to come and spend some time and reconnect with nature. There's 2 families that live on the farm. There's another one that comes to visit occasionally. And aside from that, it's a pretty small, self-contained community. And a very nice place to pass some time, to get outside, breathe fresh air, eat clean, fresh food, and enjoy life in the campo. I found this farm through Workaway. And like a lot of farms, not just in Ecuador, but around the world, the owners are getting older. The physical work never stops. Nature doesn't take a break. The animals still need to be tended. The plants need to be watered and cleaned up, and the weeds need to be taken out, all these things. So they needed help on the farm. They have a daughter who long since moved to the city, went to school, and started her life there because, like a lot of young people in the campo, they didn't see a future to stick around for. On my first visit, we connected. It was great. They were friendly. Typical Latin hospitality, and we managed to establish a good working relationship and a good friendship. And the thing that took it to the next level was, I mentioned I'm going to be going to Canada for a short visit, and out of the blue, they just said, you could leave your bags here if you want. And that is a huge help, because it is insanely expensive to take baggage on an airplane. If you've been on a flight anytime in the last few years, you know. So I'm able to leave my stuff on the farm. It's safe. Nothing's going to happen to it. It is exactly where it is and the way it is when I left it, as when I come back. That's a huge relief, and it saves me a lot of time and effort. But that was the moment when I realized, oh yeah, like they're not just friendly. They're genuine people that know, hey, this would really help out. If I was traveling on the road, I would want somewhere where I could store my stuff. The fact that they were willing to reach out and make the offer, because it's a big ask. And with hosts, I'm like, okay, maybe I could store stuff here. Maybe I offer them, hey, can I give you a few bucks and leave my stuff here while I go to Canada? I'll be coming back. I'll stay here and do some more work. If you're a good fit, no host is going to turn that offer down. But I didn't have to ask because they made the offer in the first place. And that's one example of many that tells you what kind of a fit this place is, what kind of hosts these are, and what kind of a relationship you can develop on the road and create an anchor point or a home base. There's people like this out there, and not every volunteer opportunity has been like that. But this is one of 2 or 3 home bases that I've established between Ecuador and Colombia. It's about shared work, shared meals, and sharing time and life with the hosts and families on the farm. The first time I left, I'm not sure they expected me to come back. Everybody says that. Yeah, I'll be back for sure. I had a great time. I really want to come back. And sometimes your travel plans make that possible, and sometimes they don't. For me, given my situation, I'm applying for residency in Ecuador. I needed to spend a lot of time in the country. I knew I would be back. And I have been back multiple times. And like I said, they welcome me back, and I pick up where we left off, as if no time had passed and as if I had been there the entire time. That kind of community and that kind of home base is invaluable, especially for balance and mental or psychological health on the road. Having a home base to come back to with familiar faces makes the difference and makes it possible to do long-term travel. Because without that, you can feel completely lost and alone and like you're leaving a piece of you everywhere you go. And over time, that becomes very, very draining. But having that home base and that community to come back to, familiar faces, get to know the people better every time, that is the secret to long-term travel and life on the road. Being on the road for the last 3.5 years has been amazing. I've had some great experiences, met some great people. I wouldn't change it for anything. But what I came to be aware of over time is that I need a home base. And more than one would be better. Now, Tulipe quietly and over time became that home base. A place where I know the hosts, I get to know them better every time I go back. I know the community, I know what to expect, I know what my role is, and I know that I will always be welcomed back. You don't always just need destinations. Sometimes you need an anchor point, a home base, a place to come back to with familiar faces, so that you can, as they said in Cheers, you want to be where everybody knows your name. It's nice to come back and fit back into a community that I know I can come back and visit anytime. That's something that I noticed over the years of traveling that I really missed. It's great to be on the road and experiencing new things all the time, and I worked for 15 years on cruise ships. It was the same thing, this constant revolving door of faces and people, and you would be in a situation on the ships where you're working and partying and living with the same people for months and weeks on end, and then somebody leaves, or a lot of people leave, and that situation will never, ever happen again. So you make these deep connections and bonds on the ships and sometimes on the road with volunteers, with hosts, with communities, and you realize that that situation won't be recreated. This home base stays the same. These people are always there. I'm the part that's the revolving door that's coming and going. And I always know I can come back and plug right back in from where I left it. And that is a huge source of comfort, having that home away from home on the road, a home base, an anchor point, where you know you can come, spend some time, do some work, get to know the people, help them out in their day-to-day, and become a part of the fabric of the community. Home isn't always where you're from. Sometimes it's where they're expecting you back. So if you're still here, you made it this far, thank you for sticking around. Any comments or questions, please drop them below. Please also drop a like and feel free to share this video and other ones with anyone you think may be interested. A home base like this exists because of real human connection. It's not tourism, it's not just travel, it's the people that make the difference, always. You earn these places by showing up, doing the work, sharing meals, sharing parts of you with your hosts and getting to know them over time and becoming part of their community, part of their existence, of their life. It's an amazing way to live. And I love moving around, I love the itinerant nature of the way I've been traveling for the last 3.5 years, but it's time. I've learned everything I can from it, and it's time now to see about putting down some roots. So my plan going forward, based on this home base model, is to spend more time in a region. Might not be at the same host, but pick a city or a town or a part of the country and park myself there for 3 or 4 months at a time and see, is this a place I think I could buy my own place where I can return to with all my stuff and then use that as a jumping off point. So when I need to come off the road for a month or a few months and just get my head back together and relax, come back to my own place for however long I need, and then be able to continue traveling. Every time I leave, they say to come back anytime. I'm always welcome there. There's a spot for my bags, there's always work to do, and we would love to spend more time with you. That's not a transaction. That's not hospitality for tourism. That's something you can't book, you can't create, you can't manufacture. You earn it by showing up, by working alongside people, by sharing meals, by spending time. You get it by being present long enough to stop being a visitor and to actually start being a part of the fabric of the lives of the people in the community. Tulipe isn't going to make it onto any highlight reel. You're not going to see it on Instagram. You're not going to see any spectacular sunsets or anything of any note. It's not that kind of place. It's a place where you find real people, real work, and it's a place that somehow, quietly and over time, has become my home away from home. A place where I can go and feel totally relaxed, spend time with people that I know and get to know better every time I go there, and share a sincere connection with people that just a few years ago I never knew existed. That's what Feel Good Friday stories are all about. Real life stories from traveling in South America at this point, being on the road for long periods of time, positive, inspiring, real life stories. The moments that stay with you long after you've left. Thanks for stopping by. Happy trails. See you out on the road next weekend.